Hello, I'm Donald Green, Executive Director for Mississippi Delta Council for Farm Workers Opportunities Incorporated. We have been servicing the Mississippi Delta since 1971. Our primary mission is to employ migrant and seasonal farm workers across the Mississippi Delta. Here in the Mississippi Delta, we have 4 of the poorest counties in the United States of America. And what we do is try to find economic opportunities for all of our clientele throughout the Mississippi Delta.
Okay, so can you say a little bit of
how we accomplish our mission is through a large partnership with many organizations. One of the key organizations is the Southern Rural Black Women in Agricultural Initiatives. We'll try to collaborate many organizations, many farm growers and organizers in Mississippi to create economic opportunities. Our growers listed are socially economic disadvantaged farmers. They have limited resources and they have limited opportunities to manufacture their products inside of a commercial kitchen. We have developed over the years a commercial kitchen program to assist them. So they'll be able to come into our commercial kitchen, package their products, and market them on a national or local scale. These products will be inspected by meet all USDA standards. We will hopefully be able to market them to our schools, institutions around, and create economic value and opportunities for our growers and also the Southern Rural Women in Agriculture Initiatives. We appreciate all of our growers. We work with them thoroughly. We train them. We have a training program for them to make sure they understand all of the ins and outs of training in agriculture. The USDA standards are met at every level. And the commercial kitchen is the icing on the cake for them. At the end of their growing season, they bring their products to our commercial kitchen, they cut it up, chop it up, package it, and we market it to our local vendors, including schools, hospitals, sheriff departments, anybody that want to buy the products. We sell peas, butter beans, squash, onions, cucumbers, and the likes. Doing this, through this process, we create opportunities for people that would not have had this opportunity otherwise. If we didn't have the commercial kitchen and those processes for understanding how these people need economic income, then they would be without resources. We have resources that we obtain through our partnership initiatives to help us do these things. But the key is economic development initiatives for our clientele. We serve all of Mississippi. We focus mostly here in the Delta. We have, over the years, served more than 40 to 60 socially economic disadvantaged farmers and growers per year. Each one of them increased their economic income at least from $4,000 to $20,000 a year. So if you had to do a return on the investment of the time and energy that we put into this thing, would be very good. The energy that we spend training growers here in the Mississippi Delta has been a catalyst for some of them have gone on to become major entrepreneurs in the Mississippi Delta. And that's a big deal for us. When you can take a grower that's socially, economically disadvantaged and train them to become business people and marketing their products worldwide. That's a big deal for Mississippi Delta Council. We're here in a critical needs, highest diabetes, highest blood pressure population in the country. And we all know that through the research that has been developed over the years, that fresh vegetables create better opportunities for your health care. Sometimes they say things are inherited, yes, but we can, if we turn our diet around here in the Delta, we can lower the incidence of diabetes, high blood pressure, and all the associated medical conditions. I believe that being able to have access to fresh foods is a start to turning the health care around for the Mississippi Delta and the people in the Mississippi Delta, especially if we start with children. And as it impact children, and I believe that a healthy vegetable diet creates healthy children, creates better economy for the children, and it creates better opportunities for them educationally and so forth and so on. So I think that we have, and it's been shown throughout the research, that a healthy diet makes a healthy child.
Okay, thank you. And
well, the number one approach we're taking is to help more growers become available to the Delta. Train more people to understand that farming is not like it used to be. When we grew up years ago, farming was just you work and go home. You work and you go home. Now you can farm and earn a living and eat fresh vegetables yourself and your families. All of us years ago had gardens in our backyard, but because of the stresses that was related to agriculture, many of our children left the Delta. Many of them said they don't want to never farm again. But we're finding out lately that the garden in the backyard means better health for you and your family. So we train them to go back to farming their own food, growing their own vegetables, creating opportunities for their own children. It's better. In the Mississippi Delta, we spend probably $6 million a month on produce from somewhere else. If we grow this produce ourselves, we can service ourselves. Okay. As has been said before, a rising tide lifts all boats. If the children are hungry when they get to school because they didn't have no food at home, then you have a problem when you get to school. But if we buy from ourselves, creating economic opportunities for all of our local people, then they'll be not hungry when they get to school. They have funds at home to buy different things. So you create an opportunity for them to have income and buy the things they need and eat healthy food. So when they get to school, they can focus on just education. In Mississippi, the families hold a lot of scars from land manipulation to family manipulation to being oppressed on farms, voters manipulation. All of these things have caused a lot of our African Americans and our people of color not to want to farm. That's the farthest thing from their mind as they grow up as children, farming. That's one thing they never thought about that could make them a decent income because of the previous years of scars that left from generational scars. But today, we have to train them better. We have to help them to understand that those scars were from yesterday. The day is now, grow your own vegetables, you're healthier, market your own vegetables, you're economically independent, and try to find markets to feed yourselves. If we $6 million a month or whatever it is, if we just feed ourselves, we can earn a nice living from farming and agriculture. So that's the thing that we have to train our young people to understand. Farming is not for everyone, but for those that are in farming and dedicated, they make a good living.
Okay. As you're training farmers, how do you address those scars associated with working the land?
And as we train the growers, we help them to understand that everything is not manual like it used to be. There are some things still are manual, but there's some things that technology has taken over. We get pea pickers that pick the peas. We get real tractors that we drive themselves. So technology is a lot different than what it used to be years ago. We have some problems still. There's some things that are still manual. Watermelons and cantaloupes and those kind of things are still manual. But as time go on, it ain't as bad as it seems. because if you got workers, you can still earn a decent living from it. And the scars of working for $2 a year, $2 a week, whatever the situation was, is different now. Those scars are removed by your earning whatever energy you put in your farm. That's your return. That's your return. So the energy that you put in is directly related to the earnings that you have from your farming operations. As not those scars from years ago, it wasn't exactly like that.
All right, thank you. In addition to nutritious foods being related to physical health, do you see your work as healing traumas? The traumas that farmers are bringing forth from their foreparents and about things that happened on the farms many years ago, and if so, how?
Well, as I was saying, as I just stated, the traumas and problems that they had years ago can be erased by training and understanding that your energy that you put into your farm is directly related to your income. It matches nowadays. If you're working for someone else 35, 50, 60, 100 years ago, it was different. The parents put much energy into those farming operations, and the scars are still there, the pain and hurt when you work a whole year and don't get any money from it. Those scars have been removed now. Now you work, your energy that you put into your own farm is a direct relationship to your income.
Okay.
So those scars have been removed from the equation.
Okay, in what ways is your work helping to restore cultural ways and values of your community?
Yes, and by doing so, of training our growers and our workers and our participants, we're letting them know that, hey, what you used to do years ago for free, now you can earn an income from it. So you're making an entrepreneurship, you're making a business out of your farming operation. That brings more people to the table. They increase their economic value, they increase their long-term access potentials, and they grow as a family to things that they used to do for free, now they get paid for it. And it's important that you grow your own vegetables. I have talked to people all throughout the Delta, and the grandparents used to do this kind of thing years ago. But the children of those people moved on. They didn't want to do it anymore because of the scars that they saw their grandparents going through. But here now, you're training entrepreneurs. You're training businessmen and women. You're training people to become agronomists. Agricultural-related activities is a big deal. It's a big operation throughout the Delta. So you just don't have to farm. It's not all of it. Marketing, management, farm management is a big deal. So produce production, all of these things are jobs that spin off agriculture. And all of our trainees can get some type of training in agriculture.
Awesome. Okay, as you go about your work, who from the past do you draw on for inspiration or strength? Whose legacy do you lean into or try to carry forward?
There are so many people that have gone through what we're trying to get our growers to go through now. My grandparents, I came from a farm. I know firsthand what they go through on a farm. But the person that I worked for was more of a teacher than being oppressed. Now, the money wasn't there, but, I learned a lot from the farming operation because I learned that your energy that you put directly into your business is directly related to the income you pull out of it. And so my grandparents, they knew that, but they didn't have the opportunity to express that. All they did was work with no return. But here now, we're teaching our growers that, look, if you work, you can earn a living in agriculture. And that has been the catalyst that keep us going. All of the people that Mr. Washington produced the peanut all these folks did a lot of things in agriculture. We just have to focus on getting agriculture back into our school system, getting our students to realize that without agriculture, you can't eat. It's as simple as that. It's simple as that. Without agriculture, you can't eat. Everybody has to have it. And no matter when you eat in the afternoons, at lunch, or at dinner, nobody asks you, could the person that made this product, made these vegetables, could he read? Can he write? Did he earn any money from it? Nobody asks those questions. They just eat. But we're here to tell you today that our growers can read, they do computers, they know finances, and they can write.
Great.
The same people that put food on your table, the same people that now has a better opportunity to make income from farming are here. We're here to help them.
All right, thank you. What is the future that you envision for Mississippi's children, families, and communities in the future?
And that's, we do a short five-year projection. After we get our commercial kitchen in full operations, I believe that somebody in Mississippi, it is my hope and my dream, that somebody in the Delta will produce a product that goes nationwide. We have had the recipes, we've had the understanding of how to make this stuff over the years, but the opportunity was not there. We're bringing the opportunity to the forefront. We're bringing the opportunities to the people. So in 5 or 10 years, we will see a whole new Delta. More produce being produced here, more healthier children, more educated children, and more farming children working on their own farms, producing their own vegetables, producing their own produce, living at the top in the Mississippi Delta.
All right, you seem to have alluded to value-added
Yes.
products as you were just referencing the future for Mississippi's children, families, and communities. When you talked about entrepreneurship opportunities, you want to say a little bit more about the value-added opportunities?
Well, see, because we train our growers to do what we call value-added products. That means they take the products that they grew, they package them in some form, either freeze them, jars, put them in jars for canning, those kind of things are called value-added products. That means they add value to the product they grow every day. So with that being said, some of these products, pickled peaches, pickled cucumbers, pickled eggs, whatever the product is, it'll make national claim one day. Some of these people in the Delta have always produced good products, edible. They always produce those, but they haven't had the opportunity to produce them on a massive scale so we can market them on a national scale.
Okay.
Another thing that our training does is increases awareness in the Delta region for how important it is and how simple it is to grow produce. It creates economic opportunities. As I said earlier, it creates economic opportunities. In our training program, from A to Z training, we teach them how to test the soil, we teach them how to grow the products, we teach them financial equity, how to handle their money, how to do a BEP, which is a break-even point operation, so they'll know when they start to make money. And we teach them how to manage their finances after they make the money, how to file the Schedule Fs. All of these things are critically important when you're talking about producing entrepreneurs. And we have done that over the years, and many of them have gone on to live successful farming operation lives. We hope that every one of our growers will become an entrepreneur in farming. They have been trained to understand that farming is the lifeline of all Americans. Everybody eat, Everybody has to have food. So it's not like it was oppressive as it was years ago.
Okay.
We have learned a new angle. We have producing a new product for ourselves like we have done in the past.
Wonderful.
I'm Myra Bryant, M-Y-R-A-B-R-Y-A-N-T. I am Chief Consultant for the Southern Rural Black Women in Ag Cooperative. How I got there, I served for 30 plus years as Executive and Project Director of the Mississippi Association of Cooperatives, located in Jackson, Mississippi. In that particular role, my job was to oversee the development of cooperative businesses throughout the state. This included the Mississippi Delta, the lower southwestern region of the state of Mississippi, and eventually over into Louisiana, Tennessee, wherever there was a need for cooperative development. In my years as cooperative development, I met this fantastic group out of the Mississippi Delta. This group was unique in that it was the first cooperative for minority women ever to be established in the state of Mississippi for the production of agriculture business products. It was a journey. They were magnificent women. They are magnificent women. And what I love about this group is their ability to start from scratch and to put food on the tables for so many Mississippians here in the state.
Okay.
That role is very significant because for so many years working here in the Mississippi Delta, we see so many children that have fallen through the cracks. Children go to school because that's the only place they could get a meal, whereas I hope that these women will be instrumental in putting fresh food on the tables for many families here in the Delta. And that ranges from fruit. We have several fruit growers and vegetables. And we'll do this under that cooperative label, in the label of cooperation, working along other nonprofit organizations that want to partner with us in ensuring that these children are fed and healthy. I believe that training is essential and certification is utmost. In saying that, because not only do we hope to produce fresh vegetables, but there is an opportunity for sustainability with these women and with the co-op where they can add value to what it is that they're producing in their enterprises. And some of these ladies are already doing this, from preserves to fruits and vegetables, where you can just eat them out the jar, or you could prepare casserole dishes with it, whatever way you want to, I guess improve you're gonna have to edit this, improve the quality of what is being produced. And I am the recipient of a lot of these preserves, a lot of these vegetables that they're producing, as well as the fresh vegetables coming directly out of the field.
Okay, thank you.
I know it was formed, and it's important that it was formed because so many years, for so long, we have been left behind. We have been left behind in so many things, and as a black woman myself, and to see my fellow sisters forming enterprising businesses and being quite successful at it, I might add, in their own respect. Each of these women had their own farms, and they were doing well, but then they came together collectively and wanted to do something bigger to impact many other people than just themselves. And that to me was, I think that was like chocolate icing on a yellow cake. And it was good to be a part of that. It was something that I've often desired to do. You know, when I took the job, as cooperative developer for the Mississippi Association of Cooperatives, my desire was to see my people improve. My desire was to see blacks not at the bottom of the list, but see us rise to a place of prominence, even with our own communities. And the cooperative business model is that way of doing that, because not only are the farmers and producers, not only do they benefit, but think of the people in the communities, in neighboring communities. This thing has potential to be bigger than what we could sometime even imagine with our finite minds. And so as a visionary, this is where I see this group. I see this group as the first of its type, sort of like the Hidden Figures that we saw from NASA. These women are visible figures, and they are benchmarks for younger generation and the youth in agriculture today, because they can look and see the inroads that these women have made, and they can aspire to do the same. Okay.
Their products.
Okay, we have greens, that's a staple. Several types of peppers, those are staples. Peas, butter beans, you know, all of those type, okra. And don't let me forget tomatoes. And then you have the fruit producers. There are peaches, blueberries, just to name a few, some blackberries, you know, so it's a lot of things. And all of that is value, they add value to it because those are canned products. And I've sampled the majority of them, and they were delicious. There are several women that do the hot sauce with the peppers. Like I mentioned earlier, the preserves, greens. You can get greens fresh frozen, or you could get them canned, and tomatoes. So those are some of the products, which I'm so excited about the commercial kitchen, because this is a place where the women can come, and it's my desire that they come as a team, not just individually, but come as a team, bringing different things from their particular farms and stuff, and we do it together. I want them to teach me how to can, because I don't know. And this will be an awesome opportunity to bring the group, younger people here, to the commercial kitchen to see this being done in the process.
All right.
Okay. Well, the women would come together and they will grow collectively greens, different varieties, from cabbages, collards, mustards, turnips, kale, broccoli, and this will be sold under the Southern Rural Black Women in Ag Cooperative label. And I think that this is necessary. It's necessary to build strength and capacity within the cooperative as a group and secure future markets.
Okay, great.
I envision a Mississippi where all the children are healthy, are strong, vibrant, getting all the food that they need to survive, having visions. You know, so many children in poor communities don't have visions. The thing that impacts them the most is trying to survive in their environments. My vision is to see the children of Mississippi aspire to be the best that they can be. And I know that cooperatives are a sure way and a surer foundation than any other that I've ever known to help precipitate that, to further that along. And getting the communities together like it was when I grew up. We all came together, even in times of when they were killing hogs. All the families would come together and everybody got a piece of it. And when it was time to harvest vegetables, it wasn't, you know, my dad as a farmer, he had what he had for us, but also the neighbors. Everyone was impacted by what it is. And it's no different then, it shouldn't be any different then than what it is now. And this is how communities will thrive. This is how communities will survive, when we learn that we're in it together. We're in it to win it, and together we will. First, I'll say in the children. They are our future. And we have to do everything we can to ensure that they have something positive to walk into, to step into. And I believe with what we do now as a people, as a community, that will help our children. My desire is that no child is left behind, that every child has an opportunity to a good life. We can do that by ensuring that there are fresh foods and vegetables on the tables of these children, that no child goes to bed hungry, so that they can learn and they can achieve anything that's set before them. As a community, it does take a village to raise children. We can't do this alone. And if we partner with one another, first of all, partner with one another as families within these communities, I think that we have a head start, greater than a head start. We have a monumental impact on what can change the lives of our children.
Okay, thank you.
I'm Bobbie Miller. I currently serve in the capacity as president for the Southern Rural Black Women's Initiative. I became president after the ceasing of the former president, Ms. Benita Conwell. Prior to that, I was the vice president. But I joined the co-op during its inception, you know, when it first came into existence. And I kind of went through some things that they were doing, and we covered a lot of things back. We were growing a whole lot of produce and stuff like that. But really what really encouraged me to get into this is that all my life I lived on the farm. And during that time, I had to do the work. But then when I got older, this was something that I choose to do. And I truly enjoyed the fellowship, as well as learning how to grow the different produce, and learning how to prepare them and put them up, and or whatever, to help not only myself but other individuals as well. Well, when I think about fresh fruits, vegetables, and things for children and families, I think, first of all, in order for a person to learn, their brains need to have food. And as a grower, I also learned that when we get produce from other areas, we really don't know how it is prepared. We really don't know what they use to grow it. So when you grow foods and stuff with your own, for your own, then you will be able to control the type of chemicals or whatever it is that you use to put in the food. That's why we have so many different illnesses that comes about, is because of the food intake that we have. We have a lot of cancers and a lot of other things that go on, hypertension and all of that. But if we control it on a local level, then we will have more pure fruits and vegetables to, sustain the families.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I think that the GAP certification, the training of people that handles food, is very important, because when we handle food and we don't really know, there may be certain things that's out in the fields or someplace like that that can be hazardous to people's health. So we need to know that when we're handling food, it needs to be handled very carefully, and we need to make sure that we wash our hands, and we need to make sure that if there are certain things that's in the gardens or whatever that we're growing, we remove those things properly, so that we won't end up with other things as a result of us eating contaminated foods or whatever. But GAP certification and training and all that is very important, because it lets us know that we need to handle this food a certain way, and then when you pack it up, moving it from one place to the other, then we need to know how to move it to another area, or whatever. Whatever we're doing is supposed to be for the benefits of our people. As we are training farmers, we think in terms of the benefits of farming, training, and also working in other places, not only in the commercial kitchen, but in the homes as well. Sometimes we, when we're training the farmers how important it is to use correct techniques when you are handling foods, because there are so many things that could go wrong when you mishandle your food. They can be bruised. It can come when you trying to have fresh things. It can become bruised, and when it becomes bruised like that, it has a tendency for it to be open for bacterial infections and all of that. So washing hands and in the training gap, the GAP certification for the people in the kitchen, they really needs to understand the importance of using correct techniques, and then they also need to know the type of temperatures and things like that the food should be when they receive the food, and then when, if it stays out or whatever it is, they need to know that you should not use certain things like that. So all of their training will be in place when they go into the kitchen. They will know how to handle themselves, know the importance of wearing certain attire when you're in there, no rings and no your hair down and all these kinds of things. So all of this stuff will not get into the foods and things that they are preparing.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. The reason that I feel that we should work together in a cooperative manner, we will be more stronger where there's unity, there's strength. Where I may not understand certain things, someone else may go someplace and learn other things, and they can come back and share with the group. And so when we work together, then we will be able to be more successful and be able to produce the things that we're trying to do, and have a better understanding of how we need to do it and why we need to do it, and those kinds of things. And then when we get ready to like marketing or whatever, we will know about the different places and things that's out there where you can get rid of your stuff. Because first of all, sometimes we go and maybe want to grow certain things, but if there's not a market for something, then it's kind of like a waste because you don't have nowhere to move it. So when we're out there and in the kitchens or wherever we might be, we can have conversations, and as we talk and share information about old recipes, and I know something, about the canning and the things like that. Some of this food that we're doing now as far as freezing and all of that, when you freeze food, it has a tendency not to stay fresh. But back in the days, people used to can all kinds of things. And showing the people that how they used to do these things, and we can do it now, put them in jars and things like that, take us back to some of the old traditional ways of doing things. And then that way we can they can peas and greens and all of the things that we grew. We used to have a place that we did this stuff called, we called it we had we called it the place where we used to grow the food. Didn't call it no garden or nothing. We called it a truck patch. That's what it was. A truck patch. In the truck patch, what we did was we had all kinds of things that were out there, so many of this, so many of that. And then too, working together, that's not a new thing. It used to be, it's old, because back in the days when we used to have all of these things out in our fields or whatever, the neighbors and things would come over and help us to gather up the stuff, and then we would share it with each other. Then they would share ideas or recipes or something like that, what they used to do. And then now we can take some of those same recipes, because people are looking for older traditional types of foods and things, and we can put it on the market and sell those things at farmers markets. We can encourage the ladies that's growing this stuff, if they want to, they can start a farmers market, or either they can learn where farmers markets are, or either they can learn where they're processing different things. So when you get together as a group and have an open mind and everybody try to be on one accord and knowing our purpose, then we can share information that will be useful to all of us. Some things that I think I know, I might not be doing it just right, but listening to somebody else's opinion, it helps us to understand things better on how we can do what we are trying to do and do it better, and then maybe not less stressful, because sometimes we go way out the way doing a lot of stuff that is not necessary to do. But if you find somebody can do what they call a shortcut of doing things, it's better. But we go by and have to go exactly by certain little things we have to do a certain way. But then just to do it come out the top of your head like people used to do back in the days. They didn't have no recipes and written down. They had things that they just came up with stuff. They said experiment. We could not do no better because a lot of us didn't have things. So we had to make do with whatever it was. That's why we are survivors, because we learned how to take a little and make a lot. Like they always say, you making a little stone soup. You put one stone in the pot, then somebody else come along and put another one in, somebody else put another one in, and we keep on with all those different ingredients and stuff. At the end of the day, we have the best soup it is. So then that's the way we have to work as a co-op, working together, encouraging one another, how we can do things and not being selfish. So a lot of times we do that, have a tendency as women to work. We don't like working together a lot of times. People don't. And we need to understand as a co-op, that means, first of all, the co-op means cooperation. So if we cooperate, I'm not going to go no further than I'm supposed to go, and neither will you. But there's nothing wrong with us sharing information, so all of us can take this trip together, and we'll end up at the same destination, maybe doing different things, but we still will have accomplished the things that we set out to do, and plus we can learn some other things if we keep an open mind. From the past, I lean on my mom, my dad, my grandparents. They were all farmers. All my life, we've been a farmer. And I get my strength from them, and it encourages me to see how they did stuff. It was hard during that time for them. But in this day and time, there's things that have been made so much easier for us to work with. You know, we used to go out in the field, and we had all this cuckabuls and crabgrass and Johnson grass and all of that kinds of stuff that we had to try to work through. And those hard clods of dirt that people couldn't hardly chop the ground because your hoe hit the ground, and they would jump up off the ground, the hoe would, because the ground would be so hard. I guess, I don't know, it was lacking certain ingredients in the soil or whatever it was. I said, but I get my strength from that. I said, now if they did that back then with less, why can't I do better with more, and things are more convenient? There are more resources out there to help us. Back in the days, they did not try to help us as people. That's why black people formed the co-op, because they could not get things from other places. So we as a co-op, we form the co-op because we can get it. So now what's keeping us from doing what we need to do? We can grow some. If you don't have the plots to put it in, grow it in cans, grow it in pots. You can grow it in your flower beds, and 1 or 2 stalks of certain things, you will get a whole lot of stuff. Because this year past, I had the experience with some cherry tomatoes, and I didn't really know. I think the people were really trying to get rid of them, but that wasn't what I wanted. But those things grew about 6 feet tall, and they had a whole lot of tomatoes that it produced, and it just kept going on and on until this real hard frost caught it. But I wasn't expecting that, but it was just one bush. And I mean, if I got about 4 or 5 dish pans off of that thing. So people don't have to have a lot of plot of land to be able to grow certain things. They can have small plots of land. That should not be an excuse for people to not do whatever. So we can take the tillers nowadays, which we didn't have that kind of modern day stuff, tillers to help to till up your land in smaller areas or whatever. Now we have tractors and all this kinds of stuff. 'Cause my daddy used to have to have a mule. I remember all of that. Mules and plows and all that kind of stuff. That's where he worked the whole land. He raised the cotton, the beans, and everything else. We had cows and hogs and chickens and goats and all this kinds of stuff. But he did it the hard way. But now we have help with other things, and so why not? Why can't we do certain things? We can learn a lot of stuff. So if we can learn something from each other, and people don't mind sharing their information with us, we can do a whole lot of things, and everybody can come out. They can make a lot of money now, because farming, we didn't do $2 a day, $3 a day, or something like that out there working in these fields or whatever. But now we have an opportunity to make whatever we want, because most businesses started in somebody's kitchen. And if we can start in our kitchen doing some small things, who knows where we might take it. And then with other people supporting it, we go to the farmer's market, we sell this stuff, see how well it's going, then we get a name brand come along. Let's like with Southern Rural Black Women's, we get a brand. And now, back in the days, we had no brands. So we get a brand, we get it in the market, and get it into all these grocery stores and all this kinds of stuff. You know, start selling this stuff, people start buying it, and then we have to promote it each other. And then we can go where we're trying to go.
Okay.
I see it growing. I see it taking a large stand, because really, right now, we're in a food desert. And there's a great need for produce. And I feel like if we would go to the trainings and have people to train us on certain things and all this, how to grow the product, helping us to find the resources and things that we need to purchase the necessary things to control the grass or whatever it is that we need to without causing harm to the person when they eat the food, then we will be able, this market could go a long ways. And we could come up with us a name like, other than Campbell's soup or some other kinds of things, we can have our own names on things that we do from our own places. And using that commercial kitchen, we can learn a lot of stuff there too, because we can bring young people in, teach them how to can, and do all of that. And then if people want to do certain special occasions or something, don't have the necessary equipment to do things or whatever, they can, if they cater, if they do whatever they do, you know, they can use that to help them, you know, to get their products out.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
All right. In addition to all of the challenges that we have faced in trying to do this work, I see Mississippi growing. I see the children being more healthier, really having a healthier community, and having access to food and a variety of foods, and knowing that these foods were grown a certain way, because usually whenever we get foods, they say it's fresh from some other state or whatever, but they use all kinds of artificial colorings or whatever they do to preserve this food. But when we get it here locally, we know that we are getting fresh fruits and vegetables, and I feel like we will have more healthier people, because they're not eating all that additives that they've added into that, which causes us to have all of these other health issues. So I see us as women growing strong in what we're doing, and we can keep a level head. We work together, share information, and then we have access to resources like where to do things and all of this, and get the products that we need to put out there, and the workers, because now getting people to work and really serious about it. Some people really don't want to, like when they say farming, that was something I don't want no part of. But then if they really know the beauty of it and they start doing it, then it will kind of like become a habit. They will be enjoying what they do. Not only is it good for the body, it's good for the mind, it's good for the spirit, because you get the physical exercises when you're out there in the fields or whatever you're working, and then you can get healthy, nutritious foods that is not harmful to your body, so you'll have a longevity and all of that. And so we'll have a healthy mind, a healthy body, and a healthy people, and also a healthy world.
All right, thank you.
All right. My name is Ladarius Muskin, Ladarius and I am the commercial kitchen manager for the Mississippi Delta Council of Commercial Kitchen.
Okay, and in the role as a commercial kitchen manager, what do you do?
Part of my responsibility as the commercial kitchen manager is to work with the farmers, on developing products that they grow. For instance, like, if you grow sweet potatoes, for instance, working with you as far as like developing a recipe, creating a good product that we could possibly package, label, and put out into the market. So I'm responsible for managing the contracts for the farmers that would like to lease the kitchen. So part of my job is helping train them, not just to develop their product, but also teach them classes in like food safety, how to properly handle, store and deal with food.
Okay.
So my background is I studied culinary. I went to culinary school. I also have years of experience in operation management for national franchises, area leader as well. Also, I work for company as a corporate training manager, developing people and leaders.
Okay.
I feel like this commercial kitchen will be a huge benefit for the farmers in the community, because they'll have the opportunity to learn how to cook products, they'll have the opportunity to learn how to bake products, and also they're getting food that are basically coming right from the farm directly into the kitchen. So again, it's not being processed, and it's a good product.
Okay.
All right. So our commercial kitchen will be licensed so that you can come in and actually make your product, and you'll be able to put it out into the market, into the retail market.
Okay. Anything?
Right. We have equipment in our kitchen, like we have 3 conventional ovens. We have 2 also additional ovens that are connected to a 6-eye commercial burner with a 36-inch griddle top. We also have a
Freezers.
we also have walk-in freezers, walk-in coolers, reach-in coolers, reach-in freezers. We also have mixing machines for baking products as well.
And multi.
So we also have a space that's available for training, and we offer classes like Serve Safe Food Protection Manager, also cooking classes, baking classes, and also canning preservatives. And we also, I'll be able to teach up to 30 students in their class.
Okay.
So we also have a space that's available for training, and we offer classes like Serve Safe Food Protection Manager, also cooking classes, baking classes, and also canning preservatives. And we also, I'll be able to teach up to 30 students in their class.
Okay.
My name is Samuel McCray, and that's S-M-U-E-L, McCray, M-C-C-R-A-Y.
All right. So, Sam, what can you just say to us what it is that you do in relations to the commercial kitchen that's here, and the farmers who are in your network?
Okay. I'm the coordinator for the small farm.
So wait a minute.
Yeah, I'm Samuel McCray. I'm the coordinator for the small farm and partnership program for Mississippi Delta Council for Farm Workers. And my responsibility as in that position is to identify farmers or recruit farmers to grow produce for our organization and program, and to also identify markets for the produce. And in doing so, we partner with Alcorn State University Extension Program, which is a, you told me that,
18.
is 1890 institution. And that processing plant, we partner with Alcorn State University Extension Program, which is an 1890 institution, USDA certified, to do processing at their institution in Marks. At that institution, they inspect all the produce that comes in for the for Mississippi Delta Council, where Percival, who is the